Hello and welcome to classes of Preet. Today we are going to study biology, chapter 4, the flower. So let's start. We have already learned that reproduction is the most important function of any living organism for the survival of the species. In flowering plants, this function is performed by the flower. The flower is usually the most beautiful and attractive part of a plant. So now we will see the structure of a bisexual flower. Bisexual flower is the flower who have both stamen and filament. Stamen is the male fertilizing organ of a flower consisting of a pollen containing anther and filament. And pistil is the female organ of a flower comprising of style, stigma, style and ovary. Okay, so flower is a specialized suit in which the leaves are modified into floral structures. So first we will see that there is a stalk and which supports the flower. Stalk is the main stem from where the individual flower arises. Then there is a cup-shaped structure called thalamus, and the four floral parts are borne on the thalamus in four whorls. First whorl is green sepals. Green sepals collectively called calyx. Okay, and the second whorl is the large brightly colored petals collectively called corolla. So this is the second part, second whorl, and the third whorl is the male parts, which has long thread-like process somewhat projecting out and each usually ending with a bilobed tip. These are stamens collectively named androecium, and each stamen consists of a thread-like filament and anther. Okay, and the last one is fourth whorl, which consists of the female parts. Each female unit called carpel is consist of a ovary, a style and stigma. So if a flower contains all the four floral structures, that is the green sepals, petals, the male parts and the female parts, then it is called the complete flower. And if any one or more sets of floral structures are missing, then the flower is called the incomplete flower or the imperfect flower. So now complete and incomplete flower. A complete flower is one which contains all the four floral structures, and if one or more sets of floral structures are missing, the flower is called the incomplete flower. Okay, now essential and non-essential parts of a flower. The essential parts of flower are those that are directly concerned with the reproduction. These parts consist of the stamen and carpel. And the non-essential parts are simply the helping parts which either protect the reproductive parts of the flower or make the flower attractive for pollination. These parts include the sepals and petals. In some cases, the petals and sepals are undifferentiated together called perianth. Perianth is the outer part of a flower consisting the sepals and petals. Okay, and when the perianth is non-green, it is described as petaloid. And when the perianth is green like the sepals, it is described as sepaloid perianth. And one more part is there, that is bracts. When the flower arises in the axil of the leaf-like structure, this structure is known as bract. Bract may be green like ordinary leaves, or at times they are colored. The large and colorful bract of flower is easily mistaken for petal. The actually flower in this case is in the case may be small, somewhat cylindrical and attached to the inner side of the bract. Now sexuality in flowers. Male, female and bisexual flowers, the anthers of the stamens produce pollen which forms the male cells. The ovary of the carpel bears the ovule which encloses the egg cell, and the stamens and the carpels are the male and female parts of the flower respectively. A flower which contains both stamens and carpels is called bisexual flower or hermaphrodite or just a perfect flower. A flower which has only one of these parts, that is having only the stamens or only the carpels, is called unisexual or incomplete flower. A unisexual flower which contains only the stamens is called the male or a staminate flower. And the last, a flower which contains only the carpels, is called the female or the pistillate flower. Neuter, neuter flower. A flower which has both male and female reproductive organs are lacking. For example, ray florets of sunflower. Okay. Now the general description of the floral parts. So the first is calyx, which is also known as sepals. So there are usually 5 sepals. Sometimes they may be less, or in a few cases even more. The sepals may be free, polysepalous or fused gamosepalous. Polysepalous are the having the sepals separated from each other. Sometimes, as in hibiscus, there may be a second series of sepals called episepals, collectively called epicalyx. When the flower opens, the sepals may fall off and persist. Sepals are usually green, but in some cases they are brightly colored, as in gulmohar, when they are red. Now next one is corolla. Corolla are also known as petals. The petals are generally arranged in a single whorl, but sometimes they may be double whorl or in a spiral. They may be free polypetalous or united gamopetalous, forming a tube. The petals attract insects for pollination. They also protect stamens and pistils, especially when the petals form a tube. Now the third is androecium, which is also known as stamens. The number of stamens in different flowers may vary from a few to a large number. Each stamen consists of a long filament and an anther attached to its extremity. The anther is usually two-lobed. Each lobe has one pollen sacs. When within the pollen sacs are contained pollen grains. When fully matured, the pollen sacs rupture to liberate pollen grains. The pollen grains are generally powdery particles of different shapes and size. And in androecium, stamens may be free, as in petuna, or joined in different ways in single, double, or several groups. First is monadelphous. Stamens are united in one group by their filaments, and only anthers are free. Example, China rose or cotton. Second is diadelphous. The filaments are united in two bundles. Example, pea. And the third is polydelphous. The filaments are united in several groups. Example, bombyx. Now the fourth one is gynoecium, that is also called as carpels. Gynoecium is also known as pistil, and it is composed of one or more carpels. Each carpel consists of 3 parts: stigma, style, and ovary. So first one is stigma. It is the terminal knob-like part. It may be divided into 2 or more lobes and may assume a feathery appearance. The stigma is covered with hair or with granular papillae. It serves as the landing place for pollen during pollination. Second is style. Style is the tubular slender stalk which connects the stigma to the ovary. And the last is ovary. Ovary is the swollen basal portion composed of one or many carpels. The inner cavity of the ovary may be a single chamber or divided into several chambers, with each containing a number of rounded bodies, the ovules. The cushion or swollen region of the ovary attaching the ovules to the wall of the ovary is called placenta. Now we'll see the inflorescence and placenta. Inflorescence and placenta. So first, inflorescence is the mode of arrangement of flowers on the axis of the plant. The flowers may be arranged in several different ways in different plants. This manner of arrangement is called inflorescence. So in the first, we can see that single either at the apex of the main stem or at the terminal apex of the lateral branches. And in the second one, we can see it is in the axils of the leaves. And placentation is the manner in which the ovules are arranged or attached to the wall of the ovary. In the first in the first in the first one, we can see that they are growing out of the axils of different leaves reaching the same level, making a cluster. And in the second, the axils is laterally flattened, making a disc, as in sunflower. The youngest flowers are in the center and the oldest in the periphery. Ovules turn into seeds in the mature fruit, and their different arrangements can be seen in fruits such as those of pea, tomato, mango, lotus, etc. So here I have completed the chapter, the flower. So if you like the video, please turn the black thumb blue and subscribe the channel, and thanks for watching.